Hello all, this is Gabe. Continuing Carl's bio. It's November 14, 2015, and this is Carl sketching here. We're going to continue with some personal questions this time, get to know Carl a little bit better. Carl, last time we sat down, you had talked about a project that you were working on. How's that coming along?
Slow, but it's a pretty good piece of work. I had to step away from it, but it's progressing.
That's good. So
I've had another project that I've been working on too this week too, a part of my comic book that I've been focusing on.
All right. You made a sign recently that was documented and now online about your paint being stolen. Why did you think that someone homeless had stolen it?
Because they took the bag and not the contents.
Okay.
It was just what the area homeless people do.
Where was your stuff at?
It was put away. I had kind of stashed it so I could do my errands and then go back to it.
What were you doing at the time?
I went to my medical treatment center.
Many people might not like that you were talking about homeless, calling them mentally ill. If people ridiculed you, saying you're wrong, saying how, blah, 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 how would you respond to that?
The whole thing is that the person that stole my shit was a disappointment no matter what, you know what I mean? It's like I couldn't just beat the shit out of them because they were some sick fucking asshole. So.
Have you ever had issues with drugs in your life?
Of course.
You want to elaborate on that?
I don't know. I've been an addict my whole life.
You talk about, going to the clinic and stuff. Is that related?
Yeah, now treatment? It's more, it's treatment on many, many issues. It takes care of the addiction. It also takes care of the pain management that I'm involved with. So it's, it takes care of many things.
What led up to drugs?
I don't know. It's just the way I was raised, where I came from. It was a heavy industrial area. There was a lot of heroin there. And where I came from, you either became a biker or a junkie biker.
Right.
So.
You feel like that you're living the best that you can, dealing with all the...
Absolutely.
Everything the best you can. Okay. All right. Where are you currently residing right now?
Well, right now it's called couch surfing.
Couch surfing?
Yeah, but it's more or less just so that I can be available at night. I work late at night, and I have to travel, so it's like I've got to do what I've got to do to get to where I have to be. So I just rest during the day over a friend's house, and then I go to work every night.
What's next for you, Carl?
Well, I've got some art projects coming up. I have some murals to do, and really just boosting this channel and doing what it takes to make this thing go.
As far as working with other people, are you willing to listen to other people's ideas?
Pretty much, yeah.
Let others potentially work with you if they had any offers and it was beneficial to your interest and was something.
Well, in this business, you got to be diplomatic. The customer's always right. You got to work with them and what they want, and you got to do it in a way that can be done. You know what I mean? Sometimes people want things that can't be done, but you've got to do it, and you got to make them happy. So.
Well, recently we had talked about some pretty substantial increases on some of the bids on some of the videos, as much as 2,000% of an increase on playbacks and so forth. How does that make you feel?
That's awesome. That's really awesome. There's an aspect to it that I know is a business aspect, but that's totally cool with me. Something's got to be done just for business sake, and that's all right.
In other words, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Exactly.
Make things happen, not wait for them to happen.
Yep.
If someone were to make contact to help or propose a new business idea, what kind of experiences would you appreciate them having?
Can you clarify that?
If someone was to come at you what kind of, with a business idea, a major project, or money to back up a project that they thought you'd work on, what kind of experience would you want them to have?
Pretty much, if they're in their own business and they want help with their business, like for advertising and things like that, just that they are somebody who's a hands-on person, not somebody that sits behind like a third-party business person, someone that's like silent partners, or what, that would kind of turn me off if I was doing something that, for somebody that just wasn't really involved, they're behind the scenes, they don't have any real impact. I think, like a strong marketing background, advertisement experience would be really helpful. Things like that I'd be looking really forward to doing work with.
All right, so you're still working on your comic book idea for now?
Yeah, I got a lot of the artwork done and some of the characters really fine-tuned.
Are you open-minded to new ideas?
Yeah, pretty much. I know that what I'm doing is kind of cutting edge, so it's old school, but it's very much cutting edge at the same time. I'm combining ideas. So like I'm really on the cusp of doing something that not a lot of people are doing, but there's a big market for it.
Are you open-minded to working with different people, Yeah,
I'm not going to cut any demographic or any type of person out. It's it's artwork. It doesn't have to be, I'm not going to single out anybody.
In one of the videos, I believe it was the Magic Flick, you had were writing something in the
put
painting.
A spell in the artwork to bring prosperity to all involved, and it seems to be working.
What kind of spell is it?
Well, it's based on Hermetic magic. It goes back to the Egyptians.
You've been practicing that a long time?
Yeah, pretty much my whole life. Even when I didn't even know what I was doing, that's what I was doing.
So you kind of basically considered like a wizard or a witch?
Yeah, I do consider myself a practitioner, yes.
Do you think that there's like a lot of the other artists in the industry, especially like...
I know there are.
Even locally that are...
Oh yeah, locally, worldwide, all over the planet, and other planets.
Well, somebody else that was I've overheard talking about stuff of this nature was saying that there's different levels, that certain people believe there's different levels in like witchcraft and stuff. Do you believe that that's affected like your success, or like other people maybe trying to like hold you back even though you may be talented?
I don't really think that they are able to in any direct way, but yeah, I believe there's people that help and there's people that definitely don't help on those terms. Yeah, I know I'm being a little bit vague about that, but it's like those are things that I would discuss with a private group, not just like openly. But
fair enough. So what's going to be coming up right away in the next couple of months?
All right, well, I've got like a process going with this comic book that I'm getting it reviewed, and I think there's someone that's going to step in as far as publishing, and they're going to give me a hand with that. There's another piece of some artwork I'm doing for a restaurant, and this all has to do with the 3D designs and the fluorescent work that I do. So that's going to depend upon lighting and some coming to some agreement about installation, but that's coming up. So within the next 3 months, I'm going to be pretty busy. So also we have our project that we're working on. I'm going to try to do a little of that every week, and the comic book every week, and my own performance art is stepping up quite a bit. So there's a lot happening too, so there's events that I want to be at. If the holiday season's here, I also have a holiday thing that I'm planning for businesses where I'm going to do window painting for businesses. So I'm going to start doing that full force just to get some extra money coming in.
Okay. So what is it that you've been working on today, Carl?
Well, I'm doing just some background scenery. This is Stonehenge. It's all thumbnail, but I'll fine tune it. And I'm thinking about backgrounds for my comic book, which will be like Roman gladiator, Druid, Celtic, and Japanese, Asian. So I'm going to mix the two together.
All right. Do you feel that street artists, like such as yourself, are treated differently today compared to, say, like 100 years ago?
I don't know. Society in general has changed. I know I make a lot of people happy, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that, let's say Bob Dylan were playing on the sidewalk, people would spit on him because people don't respect anything anymore. It's that part of it's a shame, but that's one of the biggest reasons I do what I do is because it brings awareness to a lot of people. And I used to think like, oh, I was born 100 years or 1,000 years too late, but I know I'm right in the right place at the right time because I'm helping people to become aware. And that's what I do. So that's a big part of what is inside of me, is helping others to find their own awareness. And that has to do with my tarot, my magic, and my art.
Like a lot of the people that you deal with, I mean, a lot of them you've dealt with for quite a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I noticed a couple that came out to see you the other day that you've been doing readings for like, they said 10 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there a lot of people like that?
Yep, there are, but there's good and bad in all of that.
What do you
I've
mean?
had good experiences, and I've had some where, when somebody dies right out of the blue, and it's a husband and wife, and they've been clients of mine for years, it's not a happy thing. So, I'm really worried about one friend of mine, and I know he's doing what he has to do, and I think he's going to be okay, but he's gone through a rocky road, and that's just what happens with a lot of people. So, part of what I do is with the tarot is I become a counselor for people, and that's a tough thing sometimes. I had to stop for a while too because there's a lot of negative stuff on the street that follows back.
How so?
Well, I do my thing in a heavy drinking area, so there's a lot of drunken people, and with that there's darkness. So it's about cleansing myself and getting rid of a lot of that shit because I can't carry it with me. So that's what I mean. There's some heavy shit that goes with that.
So Carl, besides the incident where your bag was stolen,
I have a mouthful of marbles.
Carl's eating Skittles.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you had a bunch of paint supplies that was stolen, pretty significant amount, and that I guess got stolen at the time when you used to work at the ringside, and that was all returned to you lately, which you were really happy that day. What exactly happened?
Well, what it is it just had to do with disagreements with some of the business owners. So somebody had taken my paint and put it away and didn't tell anybody, and it got turned up 4 months later, which is great. I had thought some of my stuff had gotten stolen by a street person because I work out in public.
To clarify things, we're talking about two completely different times here. Okay. So
Also, too, at the nightclub I was working at, musicians were getting their instruments stolen. There's a very rough crowd around, so people were pointing fingers, and nobody wanted to, accuse anybody right out. Hey, you took this or whatever.
So that's pretty much like the biggest thing.
No. Somebody had taken some of my paintings and This is what happens with artists. Artists bring paintings to galleries and they get shown. A lot of times they don't ever get their paintings back. It happens a lot. The police can't do anything about it. And it's unfortunate where if you're an unknown artist, people just treat you like, oh, well, there's no value behind to what you're doing. But there is a value to it. And a lot of times it's up to us to claim what the value is. So, you know, that's just something that people go through individually as an artist. It's some of the pain that really is part of being an artist. So.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's the way it is. That's the way it's been for everybody since Da Vinci and before.
What paintings have gotten stolen? I mean,
There's a
I know there was
couple.
the two. I know there was the two Dali paintings. That, there was two of the Dalis that you did. That we
I'm
documented.
thinking today that it was a business owner who wanted them, and he just had them taken. So we're getting word that someone in that neighborhood thinks we're cheapening the neighborhood by doing what we do, and they're just so highbrow that they don't look at anything other than what they do. So
I got you. Big business.
Yep.
And so is that the only two that's been stolen recently?
No, there was a few more. There's a big Baphomet one. There's one on a werewolf one that I did.
So two from the movie.
Yeah.
You're saying you had stolen.
Yeah. And then two more prior to that too. But there's been hundreds of them over the course of 8 years.
All right. Well, we did document those two, so we'll be sure to show them.
Yeah. And the amount of work I've cranked out in this past 9 months has been amazing. And I put out a lot of work. So I'm going to stay on that type of grind until next year, where I'm going to do even more work, but on a different level. That's what I'm pushing towards.
Yeah, you talked about you were going to be doing you were going to be busy with some project with the what was it, a store owner or something. What kind of
Yeah, a
work?
restaurant, and there's a theme to it. But it has to do with robots, and that's right up my alley, so
It's cool.
that's gonna work out well. And 3D, so.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, so Carl, how long have you been couch surfing for?
Well, it's situational, but off and on, it's been a while.
Alright. So Carl, over your course, or over your career of being a street artist, how many paintings do you think that you've sold in the course of, say, what, you've been selling art on the streets for
8 years.
8 years?
Thousands.
Thousands? So a lot of them big paint, bigger ones,
No,
panels.
many of them are just like a small, say 17 by 14 size.
Something like that. Or,
Yeah, a lot of them are that size.
And
Little intimate things.
what about, like, can you name all the different materials that you've painted on?
That's always found material, like or paper or, yeah, but I paint on everything. You know, doors, I like doors, wooden panels.
We've seen cardboard and plastic, just pretty much you paint on whatever's available.
Yeah,
So-
whatever I think will make a good painting. And then I'll take something and turn it into a piece of art. And that's what I do.
What book is that you're reading, Carl?
It's a book on Celtic folklore, magic, and myth. And I just picked it up off the shelf without looking. And it's always going to be about a book of magic. That's what I always find.
So it's kind of like following you,
Yeah.
stalking you.
Absolutely. You know, we're talking about the witch Rihanna right here. This is really cool.
Do you have any messages today for people that might be watching, fans, people that watch you down the road?
Yeah, go out, knock them dead. Just keep painting.